3, 2, 1. Okay, so today we're talking about A Raisin in the Sun by Lorraine Hansberry. It was first performed on March 11th, 1959, and was described as a domestic tragedy. I'm not really a fan of tragedy, nor am I really a fan of the preaching of the American dream. I'm a little jaded by having talked about it so much in previous English classes. I just get annoyed by hearing about it now. Besides the point, let's talk about the main characters. We have Walter Lee, who is a drunk man obsessed with money and his role in society. Ruth, his wife, who is worried about keeping costs down and her family together. Benitha, who is Walter Lee's sister. She's a sassy girl in her 20s who is having trouble defining who she is and what she wants to be. We have Mama, who is the mother of Walter Lee and Benitha. She is focused on being the pride of her family and trying to keep them together, but also kind of being rude at the same time. Then we have Travis, who's often used as a symbol throughout the play. He's about 10 years old and very naive and innocent. This often makes him the comedic relief, and I really enjoyed that. So the main plot. The family is struggling to move from their tenement in the suburbs of Chicago to a new house in Clybourne Park, using the insurance money from the death of Mama's husband and therefore Walter Lee's and Benitha's father. There's a large focus on poverty. Should the insurance check be used to benefit the entire family, or should Mama do what she wants with it? That's kind of the main focus through Act 1. Then we also have Walter Lee with his issues of drinking and the guilt he has from not being rich. He is kind of villainized this way throughout the beginning of the play, and it makes him a very unlikable character. And for me, it carried through the rest of the play, and I didn't like it. He was very annoying and came off very uneducated and just stupid. He was bad at making decisions. He gets his chance to be the good guy. Mama gets the check, and she gives it to him, or gives part of it to him, to invest in a liquor store and to put the money away from Benitha. And we think maybe we're going to see a change in Walter, and it'll help his arc through the rest of the story. And instead, he becomes a villain again when he just screws up, and he gives the money to a friend who runs away with it, and they lose $6,500. Now, luckily, Mama was smart and still bought a house with the rest of the money she kept from the $10,000, but that just perpetuates the third act, and it just seems totally unnecessary. It's quite a realistic look of what this issue might look like, but it was completely aggravating. So we can get on to the weaknesses. I'm going to go with first of the play. I really despised Benitha's story, her plot with her boyfriends. Because in the end, her character doesn't really change. She deals with George Murchison, who is just the worst, and Joseph Assegai, who isn't great, but is the better of two evils, and Benitha doesn't really change. It's a definitely weakness, and leaves just a bad taste in my mouth for Benitha as a character, because I want to like her because of her personality, and her arc could have been very good of her discovering herself, but we don't really get that. Another issue I have is the main plot is set up as racism for like a long time. Walter just perpetuates this racism thing. But in the end, it's more about the family dynamic and becoming a man and having a chance at redemption for Walter Lee. While it could have been a good plot, it was kind of shaken by being set up as racism. We have Walter Lee again complaining about his position in society and it being because of race. And then we have Mr. Linder from Clybourne Park setting up this whole racism plot as well. But it actually only fuels the ending for Walter Lee in becoming a man. And that just makes him so annoying to me. Walter Lee with that plot of perpetuating the problem being racism when it's really his poor decision making. And that leads to Mama being unnecessarily rude. That's another problem I have with the play. She is just maybe it is set in 59, but we were told it's supposed to be applicable to any time. But she is unnecessarily rude to her son, and I feel like it's more of a sign of when it was written, of parents being willing to beat their children and stuff like that, which is just not what it's like in modern society. So it kind of failed in that way. Back to the message of being a man, that's also outdated, I feel, especially in 2018, where we shouldn't be talking about it as in the sense of be a man. You have to be the breadwinner for your family. You have to make the best decisions for your family, and you have to step up, right? That should be any parent, any strong individual should be the one perpetuating that message. Not a man who makes poor decisions and is basically forced by his family to make the right one. It shouldn't be about only being a man. It should be about being a good person and being able to discern the right from wrong decisions. And Walter Lee just simply doesn't do that, and it really ruins that part of the plot. That being said, I'm going to kind of rate this as if it were a movie review. For a school book, for a school read, better than an average thing I've read. It gets like a 7 out of 10 for me in terms of things we've read in school. On a typical, I'm going to pick it up and read it sort of thing, maybe a 3 or 4 out of 10. It had a lot of issues. Like, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weaknesses compared to 2 strengths. And the strengths are pretty good. You know, it was legitimately engaging for a lot of it. The family dynamic and banter was very, very fun. And the use of Travis as Walter's guilt throughout the novel, that symbol, was good. I really enjoyed that. But the rest of the weaknesses really brought it down for me in terms of a literary sense. That's why I personally read it's only a 3 or 4. But for a school read, it was entertaining. Right? It was entertaining to watch a person make bad decisions. But other than that, A Raisin in the Sun it's pretty meh. So I hope that was persuasive enough. I hope that I included enough specific examples as support and was persuasive in both my words and my demeanor. I kind of do things off the top of my head, so that's kind of how I roll. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, go ahead and like the video if you liked it. Favorite the video if it was a favorite. Don't share the video, subscribe for more, and probably don't read this. I'll see you later. Take care. I don't mind.